finally the country and the rest of the media is kind of waking up to this being the biggest problem that we face, because it's still not been put to bed, it still hasn't been solved, and it's, if anything, it's getting worse.
It's a complete catastrophe, and it's not just the boats, it's the scale of legal immigration, as you and I have discussed many times before. The fact that we're letting in 1 million people, some go out, but 1 million came in, plus even more than that last year.
Yeah.
And this country cannot accommodate them. And the implications for the economy, you know, those on the left and those who have never accepted that we've left the EU will go on and on about how so many extra workers are needed to fill jobs. But the reality is that an enormous amount of illegal migrants are working in the black economy now. And this is affecting and distorting the entire economy. I think the scale of black market labour has absolutely ballooned in the last few years. I think there's nobody trying to grip it or calculate it or assess it or tackle it in any ways. And there are also huge issues around assimilation. And that really worries me. You know, the extent to which whole communities are allowed to essentially carry on here as if they're not part of our country. And we indulge that. So you see in the NHS, you know, do you need a translator for any one of, you know, 30 languages that we can provide for you? No, this isn't how it should be. If you're going to move to our country and be part of our country, you need to be able to speak English. It's not on us to provide you with public services at taxpayer expense in your language. Yeah. Sorry, it just isn't.
Same goes with the court system. You know, they've got a myriad of people who are constantly paid just in case they are needed. You know, they're not even asked if they are needed. They just sit there on the public shilling, if you like, waiting for somebody to call them up and say, can you translate this one into Lithuanian, please, for me? It's madness.
Absolutely scandalous. So I think we've really got to look at this and, you know, get tougher on it. Other countries don't do this. They don't just say, well, come on in and we'll just cater to you in whatever language you want. Whatever you do, good, bad or ugly, we're going to fit round you.
And I've also been it's been revealed to me this week, I've been talking about this earlier in the week, that there's the massive human trafficking business is a global problem now, that we see the numbers coming from North Africa into Lampedusa in Italy, but it's also happening in the United States. I was told that there's now sub-Saharan African immigration illegal coming through South America and coming up through Mexico into the United States. And so there's obviously, you know, no end to the expansion of the business.
I mean, these are huge global problems, without a doubt. But when you sort of start looking at that macro picture, it rather becomes an excuse for not tackling your own individual situation. Yeah. And we do have the power to sort this out in our own country. And what I would say about the small boats is that Rishi Sunak could actually put himself back in the election-winning game if he did one simple thing. If he announced that he was deploying the Navy to stop the boats. I think that's an absolute political game changer. It really isn't hard, Prime Minister. It's a very easy headline. I'm sending in the Navy. You've got the resources. Our Navy is there to protect our borders. Send in the Navy, and you've actually got a chance of winning the next election. So
this weekend, we kick off the Tory party conference, the proper kind of party conferences. I don't really count the Lib Dems at all, apart from falling out of a canoe into sort of water that was about ankle deep and they were wearing life jackets. Kind of sums up the Lib Dems for you, doesn't it? Yeah. Is this the most important conference they've had, do you think, then, for a while, the Tories? Because, I mean, Sunak's got to do more than just say he's going to do stuff. He's going to have to announce some pretty big stuff, isn't he?
Of course he is. So I'm going to be heading up there on Sunday, and it'll be really interesting to see what the atmosphere is like at the conference. I mean, privately, many Tories actually say we need to lose this next election. We need to have a period in opposition because of the state that everybody is in within the party. But what we'll also see is the beginnings of the beauty parade that is going to follow what feels at the moment like an inevitable loss. A lot can change in politics very quickly. So I'm going to be looking out for the mischief makers. Where is the kind of excitement at these conferences? Because, you know, they can all stand up and give their boring set-piece speeches with policies that we all know are probably never going to happen. And there's a huge breakdown in trust on delivery from the Tories. But let's see who's on manoeuvres, who's positioning for what happens after the next election.
Absolutely. It's going to be fascinating. We'll hear it all, of course, right here on TalkTV as well. Thank you very much indeed.